Todd, what's your first reactions after that?
Oh, look, we're clearly beaten by a much better team. They worked much harder than us, much longer for us. So I think that if you look at the back 15 minutes of each quarter, I think it's 9 goals to nothing. So, clearly we've got to get better.
What do you put that down to? Because take out the last quarter, it looked like you were able to compete with them for a lot of the game and in most areas, but that last part of each quarter and then the last quarter, what do you put that down to?
Oh, look, clearly they're willing to work harder and longer than some of ours. We competed. I thought our first 3 quarters, we did some good stuff. A couple of half chances here and there. Could have been maybe back to a couple of goals, maybe 3/4 time, but it's a carbon copy of what's happened in the past. And in the end, they kicked 3 really early and the game was shot, so in the last quarter. So, look, we got 8 weeks to possibly earn the right to have another go at them. So, but if we continue in the manner we are, we're probably going to come up short.
You probably made mistakes against them that you don't make against other sides. Is that because of anything that they do against you, or is it perceived pressure? What can you sort of put that down to?
Not sure, really. You have to go back to the individuals concerned. But yeah, look, we were pretty good in patches, but when it really was a decision and really got hard to grind, we couldn't go with them.
Is it something where, I guess, the way you've been working works well against the other 7 teams in the competition, but is Subiaco just at that much of a different level to the rest of the league right now that you have to do something different against them?
Well, I think we didn't play the way we want to play. In patches we did, in patches we didn't. But in the end, they had 22 guys that contributed. We had too many passengers, relied on too few.
Like we've talked about, for 3 quarters it seemed like you did compete with them in pretty much every area. Is it something where, if you get the chance to play them in 2 months' time, everything that didn't work today, do you feel like you can turn it around?
Oh, it's irrelevant, really. There's no guarantee we play them again. So if we get to the opportunity, then we'll worry about it down the track. But at the moment, we're not scheduled to play them again, so certainly not something we're worried about.
The good thing about this group, we talk about it every time after you lose, they bounce back really well generally the next week. Are you confident that this is a sort of lesson in some ways that you could learn that they'll bounce back from, but you will find ways that they can improve in the areas that they were let down in today?
Hopefully. Yeah, look, we'll get the vision and have a look at it and go through it. But, it's becoming a common thread. So, sooner or later, it probably comes back to the individual and the group and, what you're prepared to do to get a different result.
A big occasion for Josh Collar to make his debut in, but he's been banging the door down for probably 3 years now. How happy were you that you were able to give him the chance to finally make his debut?
Yeah, look, really good for Josh and for his family. Obviously got a proud family history. He's been on a pretty slow build. The first year he was still eligible to play Colts, but so he played most games and then probably stood up last year. And then this year he's been sort of in and around the mix all year. Played a pre-season game. And was pretty close to playing probably 6 or 8 weeks ago and hurt himself at training. So, he's bounced back and come back in and done the work. And, he was okay. So, it was a good day for him. Unfortunately, result, not one he'll remember.
Are you happy that the way you've been going this year, you've got a really good core group of senior players, but you've been able to bring in a lot of young guys as well and give them a chance to show what they can do too?
Yeah, and to be honest, I didn't think it was our kids that struggled today. I thought we got what we expected out of most of our kids. So yeah, really good learning experience for them, and a really good challenge for our experienced guys that have probably been through it a few times. And realistically, they're the ones that have got to facilitate and drive that little bit of change that they need that will give them make the difference.
You would never make excuses, but do you feel like Corey Delolio and Ashton Hams could have made a fair difference if they were out there today?
Not really, because they weren't available. But look, they're both clever and important players. But the 22 we had out there was the same number as the opposition, so you can't worry about who's not available.
Would you expect either to be a chance next week?
Corey was pretty close. Hamsey, I don't think would take the risk. So he'd probably play after the bye.
Hopefully we don't jinx milestone players like we did with Ashton last week, but if everything goes to plan next week, Sean Buick will play his 100th game for South Fremantle. You saw him when he was starting at West Perth as well. What sort of a journey has he been on to get to this point? And to me, he's probably almost having the best season of his career this year in a different role.
Yeah, he was playing Coltswell, I guess, when I was coaching up at West Perth, and then he's been at South since I've been there. So look, great clubman, works hard, does everything right. Probably wasn't at his best today, but he had plenty of friends. So he's been pretty consistent. So it'll be a great milestone for him. To play 100 club games.
Just finally, thoughts on Peel now next week?
Haven't thought about it at all, mate.
You were just looking for a response, wouldn't you? No matter who you play next week and no matter where it is, you just want the group to respond?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And we want them to respond as early as possible. So, the first chance they'll get on the track will be Monday. So we want to see a response straight away.
Thanks.
All good.